Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fire and Ice Conscious Conversations with Alexandria and Daren. Hi, Alexandria.
Hi, Daren. Hello, everybody. Big love, everybody.
Yeah, we're
Thanks
just
for
doing.
joining
Oh,
us.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, just thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're just doing a quick intro because we have a new project that we are essentially starting that we're going to premiere, and we wanted to just give you a quick intro to it. Um, as we did a Beyond Quantum Healing BQH session, and Alexandria was put under, and we met with these higher dimensional beings. And we the topic that we used for this episode is soul contracts.
Yeah,
We probably will go deeper into it. There's a lot in this episode that you're going to see. So we hope you enjoy it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, like, share, comment. We love it all. And yeah,
I love
so
your comments, and yeah, I would love to share some other comments we've received. Have been so very nice. Yeah.
yeah, and if you have any topics you want us to address when we do these sessions, drop them in the comments. Our email, our information is in the description as well. You can shoot us an email or, go to Alexandria's website and, reach out to her and, or in the comments, like I said, on her YouTube channel or mine. And we'll just go from there. There's a lot of things that we have questions that are going to come up and we're going to find out for all of humanity. So stay tuned and thank you for joining us. And yeah, we love this.
Thank
We love
you.
you all, and amazing journey ahead.
Yeah, that's for sure. Big love, everybody.
Big love. Take care. Stand where you are and what is happening around you. And tell me what you see or what you're experiencing or you're feeling at this time.
It feels very kind of unearthly, like I'm on clouds, but I'm still seeing that beautiful iridescent light all around, and I'm not seeing anything specifically. I'm aware that there are light beings around me, and they are different shapes and sizes. I'm seeing some very tall. Uh, I'm not really seeing features. I'm more feeling the feelings that are coming from them,
Mm,
which are very loving and kind, and like it's like they're behind layers of light, or like gauze or something I can make out that they have the tall thin. And it's going to become more, the layers of gauze are kind of peeling away, and I'm seeing more, but not clearly like you would see another person in the room. It's still, I'm seeing more the energy,
mm,
the light that they are. It has a form, but it's not like distinctive, like brown eyes and blue hair or whatever. It's nothing, it's not like that. It's just more like there's a familiarity there. There's a sense of that, knowing that I have nothing to fear here. They mean me well. There is love emanating from them. And as I'm kind of zeroing in on like a couple here, it's becoming clearer that there are many more with me. And it's not like I'm in the middle of a circle, but I am in like a group of very benevolent, very kind, loving, very calm, very calm. It's like there's like this is like an occasion, you know, that we're meeting here for with purpose, and they have come to assist in this connection that we determined in our intention that we set forth, and they are coming forward. And I'm just receiving now that the more will become, that I will become more aware of the others in my vicinity as it applies to them. So they are like holding the space, and they don't want to provide distraction. They don't want to be a distraction from what is happening. They don't want me to get caught up in trying to find, you know, all these little details. So they are essentially like, they're holding the light, they're holding the space for what is to come. And now I am being guided to come and to sit. And there's like a place for me to sit. It's like a stool, it doesn't have a back, so it's open. Now I am in a circle, but it is very luxurious place to sit. It's very cushiony and comfortable, and but there is nothing to prevent me. It spins, it rotates. So I will be facing and connecting with whoever is going to be responding, or whatever the essence that is going to be revealed is. I have 360 access to, and I is very comfortable. I feel very honored and very happy and excited feeling. I feel like, as I say, there's a strong level of comfort here. Like I feel like this is familiar, and I don't feel any fear. I have no concerns. I'm just excited to be with them and converse and see where they take me. There is a knowing here in this space that I am being a conduit. They are very cognizant that this process is being recorded and will be shared throughout the world. This is not a secret to them. They don't imagine that this is like a private, like what I do when I channel. They have brought me here to this special, it is, I'm hearing Switzerland. It's a very neutral, it's a very neutral space. It's like sanctuary is a sanctuary where, and it's all for the very highest and purest good. And I'm seeing now that there is an external, and it is to like almost like a framework. It's like a dome. I wouldn't say it's glass, but it has a protective quality to contain the energy, so it's not going to dissipate out. And there have been steps taken to charge this space with the highest light, the highest and purest that is available anywhere. This is a place of pure love. I also feel it is also the it is within the grander frame of the great heart, the great eternal heart that we are all connected to. It is within that, but it is a very and there is a heightened expectation of what will be brought through, and there the blessings. There are blessings, and they're telling me that there are some things are still be considered to be protected information that will be filtered through at the appropriate time. But there is such vastness of information here. It is like within, like where the Akasha, so all the Akashic records are held not within just this dome, but within this great, great collective heart. So they're saying, let us begin. Let us begin. What would you like to know?
Okay. Wonderful, exciting. I wanted to, maybe we can talk a little bit about contracts, like soul contracts.
This is a very good place to begin because there are so many. This is a term that is sort of bandied about, and people have different understandings of them because they bring their humanness to that very question. It is not quite the same as what you have. A contract on the earth is very specifically spelled out that one party is responsible for doing all of these very specific things and to uphold this contract, and the other parties also have their very specific, and then there are ramifications if their part is not upheld. There are punishments if their part is not upheld. There's and this is a very sort of 3D where almost a bastardization of a soul contract. So it is not, soul contract is not like that, but here in the 3D, which, as we know, is based, it's all about lack and limitation, have a position in the foreground in this 3D and have for so long that those are still, if this question is coming from one in the 3D, the answer, their expectation of a soul contract is going to be very different from one who is already having an understanding, a deeper understanding. So from our perspective, so coming from, the 5D, those who engage in soul contracts, it is done from a very loving place where the souls are actually coming together and they are receiving guidance from that. There are those whose role it is to help the souls progress along their journey and who might help with what that soul wants to achieve. And then the other souls will come forth. It is always to benefit all the parties concerned. It is not like you have a soul contract with another and you are the benefactor. You are both the benefactors. And so they do not look like what you might expect. Let us take a situation where there is a marriage contract because two people believe that they have, or even one person believes that this is their soulmate, soul person who is going to help them achieve what their soul wants to experience in that lifetime, the theme that soul wants to experience. And let us draw on, because this is something that is going to be received in very many different levels from this transmission, where they enter into a soul contract thinking that it's all going to be gaiety and light and love. And that is not always the way with soul contracts. That contract is, the basis of it is to help that soul grow, to help that soul experience what they came to experience. So using a hypothetical, say a soul comes down and they are wanting to experience all the variations of love. They want to have a true experience. What is love? And to experience something so fully, when you come from a place where it is all there is love and kindness and gentleness and all of those things, it is necessary to experience what the other variations, what would that look like in a world where that is based on lack and limitation and conditions and all of these things. How does one translate unconditional love into an experience that they're having in a 3D, which is actually quite conditional? Though many of you strive for this unconditional love, it's very challenging in the 3D. So the agreements that you make would be, in this hypothetical, I want to experience all of love. Then another might come forward and say, so you know what love is. You want to experience what it is like when it is not there in the way that it is here. So say one comes forward and says, I will be the one. I will help show you how much love you have, how much love you can bring to an unloving situation, how you can grow from a place of discomfort, of a place where you really have to reach deep to access that internal love that you have for your own self. So rather than the superficial, which is so prevalent in the 3D, say it is a marriage contract where both make beautiful, lovely vows, which are, in most cases, they are words, they come from a high intention, but they can be overridden by the individual's own self-love. Say one is very steeped in self-love and has come so far in the ascension process, and they enter into a contract with one who is struggling to find that self-love and finding solutions in other areas of life that are not conducive to a loving partnership. Even though there is that soul contract, that does not mean that these two who have translated this idea, they've come down to this 3D reality, where most of you are still hanging out a good deal at the time. Nothing wrong with that. It's here for a reason. So they come down to this 3D reality and they take these vows. And then if that contract is broken, like on the 3D level, we do not want to have this union any longer. We're going to sever this contract. This agreement failed. This marriage is no more. It failed. But what we want to say is, because it did not translate into what you would term a happily ever after, that was not what the contract was. The contract, the agreement, was to learn the different sides of, in this hypothetical example, of love. So in fact, soul contracts, for them, there would be a time when in some relationships where it would be like, okay, I'm severing all ties. The contract is broken. You know, I want no more to do with that. I'm moving forward. But from a soul level, very, very, we would go so far as to say that when to enter into a soul contract, that contract is met. It may not look from a soul perspective the way it looks from a human perspective, but if there has been an agreement, because it is known that if I enter into this, this is this core purpose is, I have entered into this agreement with this other soul and we both benefit. It's not something you disregard, even if there is a party who is not, as you would call, spiritual. And so they may disregard the 3D contract, but they cannot disregard the soul contract. It is not something that is entered into lightly, and then the courts will decide what that person owes another person. On the soul level, once the agreement is made and this contract is entered into, it will be fulfilled. It may shift slightly within the parameter because you all have free will. So there are parameters, but there is still an overarching intention that is fulfilled. It's like there really is no, well, they changed their mind. That might happen in a 3D, but it does not happen where on a soul level. So we're knowing this is a very long answer to the question, but there are so many subtle nuances. So we would say, and we hear the collective, so many speaking of failed marriages, for example, and a marriage is a contract. As we say, the bastardization of the contract, it has definitely changed to come to the 3D. But it is not failure. So we feel there would be so much more healing on a collective level of humanity, especially when you look at the amount of those particular contracts that are broken every day, entered into it with the highest expectations and broken when those expectations do not match. But that does not mean it is a failure. Perhaps that true contract in one person may be that they will experience creating life through this other person, and they will get to experience that. That might be the full extent of that contract. They may live together and be happy together for 30, 40, 50 years and enjoy that aspect of their contract, which has already been fulfilled. Or conversely, there can be situations where this contract has been fulfilled, and now it is on the earth plane null and void, the divorce. But it is not a failure because it did not linger for 50 years. And this is where so many get caught up, and they're in lockstep with another because we made these vows. We will live our lives together forever and ever and ever, which is wonderful if you are growing and thriving, and if this is a true union of love. But the earth plane, there are so many who are here, and there's so many different reasons for wanting to come to explore different aspects of self. But yes, if a soul contract has been made, it has been kept. So even if on the 3D level the marital agreement or what have you has not continued on, that does not make it a failure, because it will have achieved what it was intended to achieve, because that is what those souls intended. We're confident that you follow with that.
Yeah.
It's not really a hard concept. It's just to understand that is a different expectation. So just to know that not to walk around with the mantle of a failed marriage. And this is also with other relationships. They come together because there is a soul intention behind it. But generally speaking, the weight that a soul contract has, and it can be like we've shown you like the fullest extent, because we wanted to compare it with what you would consider like on a relationship level, the epitome of that, to come under and to ask for these blessings and to make this intention clear. But it could also be, I'm going to meet this student, and we have a contract, we have an agreement that we will meet, and we will recognize each other when we do, and one or the other will impart this teaching, which will be very significant to the other, perhaps instrumental in them going to their next level. So it can be something as simple as that. Someone saying I will meet a stranger in a bookstore, and I will be perhaps working in the bookstore, and they'll say, "Can you recommend a good book?" And I will say, "Here's the perfect book." And they will take that book and they will be open to so many new ideas. It could be one who is just in the line of work. They are fulfilling a contract with another particular individual. So there are many on varying degrees of, let's not say significance. They are all significant, but they are all different roles played by different souls, and they are all important. They are all everything is spiritual. Everything is contributing to the whole. So everything is important.
I love that, and I love yeah, how detailed it was. I kind of wanted to, I think that I have one more thing or one more question relating to that around it. And then I think we'll just close it there for today. But I wanted to kind of touch on how much of it is free will? Like, what if the individual chose to take a different direction? They don't end up at that bookstore because they chose something else. Will regardless, will that contract play out in some other way, or
In
how?
another way, yes. And as we said, you do have free will, but within the contract, there is still going to be, it's not saying that, okay, we are going to meet at this bookstore this day at this time. It's more like there will be a meeting, there will be a passing along of this information. Now, perhaps it will come in a different way. It's not necessarily going to be they will see you at a bookstore. Maybe there will be a meeting at a coffee shop where one is reading a book, and for some reason you glance over, they catch your attention, you notice a light about them, and oh, well, that's an interesting book. I think I've heard about this book. Maybe I'll just ask them, or maybe I'll just offer to buy them a coffee and have them say, can you share a little bit about this book, or why you chose it? Like, I feel like you might meet someone at a bus stop, and while you're waiting for the bus, there'll be someone so familiar, and you just start to chat with them. They are smiling, they are receptive, and oh, you notice, oh, you're reading this book, you know, or it could be as simple as that. It could be just someone recommend it. The information will get to you, but it depends on the scope of that particular exchange. If it's we're using very different examples. We've used the example of the fullness of like a marriage agreement, a contract of that sort, which is a different soul over soul. But even like these smaller things where even it's just like it can, because this information can be transmitted through song. You can be somewhere and listen to somebody. Maybe it's not a book, maybe it's simply a phrase that is going to shift you. And so maybe this contract is you will go to a coffee house that has hired a singer, and they're singing, and they sing this phrase 2 or 3 times in the song, and you're riveted by that. That can be the contract. There are many. It's simply everything is an exchange. And this is why we say you're all playmates, and you are all coming together. You are all one. You are all spiritual playmates. And we would say that everyone you encounter, nothing is by accident. And so even if you see someone, so we are showing her a movie where there were signs, where there would be a street person and he would hold up a sign that was important in the movie, that, and you would just see they're just driving along and there's like a sign come up and they just noticed. And it could be as simple as that. There can be as simple as something like that you would just kind of go, you would consider it to be a sign. You wouldn't think, oh, this sign is a contract that I have with this person, that they would have this. Do you understand? Like that it's all there is free will. You might choose to go a different route. Say there is someone sitting with a sign. It might circle back. You might go somewhere else, and then that person has left that location and they're now in another location. Or there's some other nudge where you were going to go here, but your oversoul is saying, this is the perfect time for this. There is, within the free will, there is also the assistance of your guides, your angels, who can have a broader scope of where you're going, what you're doing, and they might just like encourage you in whatever little ways that they do, not interfering with the free will, but also knowing that your will, this was your will. So it's not like they were overseeing and saying, no, you're going to do this because we want you to do that. This was the intention of your soul. But your human mind is not equipped to hold all of these things, brilliant as it is. So we are your guiding allies, overseeing and helping you make the choice, perhaps to go to this grocery store instead of that one, or to go at an earlier time or at a later time. It's all that it's the timing is always impeccable. It may seem off to you. It might feel like this is really strange, but that too can help impart the importance of this exchange that you might have otherwise not taken note of. And we hope is this coming? Do you understand?
Oh yes.
Is this
Oh
making
yes.
sense?
Oh yes. Oh yes. And I wanted to like kind of touch on that a little bit more.
Nothing is ever done to you, and it is true what you say, what you have heard, and what you heard from counsel, which is true. I'm very well aware of counsel. And these truths, counsel is us after all. But nothing is done to you. Life is happening for you, not to you. No one is taking your free will and insinuating itself into your free will. So things that are there is for your benefit. And if it is something that is not noticed perhaps on one day, you might hear the next day. You might hear a same message. And you're like, well, this kind of odd thing where I saw this, in keeping with our example, a street person holding up a sign that said something that was significant to me. And now I'm hearing it maybe from another person or another source, or I'm hearing it on, I'm turning on the radio just the right time and I'm hearing that, or I'm in a lineup and someone happens to say those same words. So do you see what we mean? It is eternally fluid and ever changing, and there's no stress that you will miss. You will not miss. You will not miss out on what your soul wants to experience, and that can be shifted in different ways, but the core of what the experience is to be will come through in its many different forms, and there are many different contracts. So we just want to embrace and impress this on all of you. All you beautiful beings, all you beautiful beings of light. We are one with all of you. We are all one. And all are players. Everyone in your life. So, and sometimes that contract might be from one that you might, from a human perspective, not feel you resonate with. That can also be part of the message. It might make you inquire, what am I not resonating with? Why is this, there may be an agreement in there. I will come through, but I will be perhaps problematic for you. I might remind you of something else that is problematic, but that might be part of this, what you're wanting to experience, what your soul is wanting to. So yes, if a soul agreement has been made, a soul agreement will be fulfilled. Just maybe not on what you might be expecting from a human perspective. So we would say relax with the expectations and just go with the flow and enjoy the ride. Did you have anything further for us, or do you feel this is sufficient for this transmission today? Are you there with us still?
Yes,
You feel
I feel like this was a great place to um end the transmission for today, and thank you for this wise and beautiful information. Was a perfect place to complete it.
we are so happy to have been a part of this holy event, which it truly is when you join with another and you have this beautiful intention and you access this wisdom. This is holy, and we are sending waves and waves and waves of love, beaming this love. And know that when you do connect with us on this way, and we know you want to close, but we want you to know this is elevating your frequencies. And not just for the time frame that this has been facilitated, it has a lingering effect. Your frequencies will stay elevated. We would encourage you to stay in the place of love and continue to bask in this. It is contributing to your own systems upgrading and helping you be able to hold the light, more of the light, and hold it longer and longer, which is in keeping with both of these soul contracts. And also, everyone else who tunes into this show as you broadcast this out, you are contributing vastly, vastly to the awakening, to the collective consciousness being uplifted. So we wish you to know that and take that into your heart, to know that, and let that knowing make you love and appreciate this humanness that you are embodied in this current reality. Just know that you are doing wonderful things. You are fulfilling your contracts. That is a beautiful thing.
Amazing. Thank you, and thank you for your time, and it was magnificent. So
you are so welcome, and we love you so much. We love you both. We love everyone who will be hearing this, and on and on and on into infinity.